Welcome to Sonic Bros. Today we will go over Chuck E. Cheese's knockoffs part 2. Probably the most long awaited video in the series. Now, let's get into it. Critter McCoon's Pizza Showplace opened on June 18th, 1983 in the 5 Mile Shopping Center in Spokane, Washington. And then around 1984, the place got bought by Dimes Pizza Kitchen and became Dimes and Critters. The place offered a slide, pizza, a mascot named Critter McCoon, arcade games, a ball pit, and a show which contains a bear who plays the guitar, a pig on the piano, Critter McCoon, the raccoon who played banjo, and then a skunk. Then a Chuck and then around 1984, a Chuck E. Cheese in Spokane opened just a couple miles away, which caused them to not do so well. And the owner of Dimes and Critters burned down the pizzeria for arson and to pay off rent and his car, and and it burned down the whole pizzeria, even the animatronics, and him and his wife got arrested for arson. And the Chuck E. Cheese closed down slightly after, but a little bit later in the 90s, opened with a Studio C Alpha stage. Circus Playhouse was a restaurant that had locations in Florida and Massachusetts. It was a pizzeria which had arcade games, pizza, a merry-go-round, play zone, and an animatronic show. These characters were built by AVG Technologies in the 1980s, and this place opened in 1982. The characters were Lionel the Friendly Lion, who was the leader of the group, Lola Leopard, Tex Tiger, who played guitar, Barney the Bear, who played drums, Charlie Choo Choo Chimp, which played piano, Ellie the Elephant, Jerry the Giraffe, Bat E Bird, who would ride around the circus tent, Starvin' Marvin, a clown that would pop up and down, and they also had a second clown named Whistles the Clown, which was a meet and greet character at the restaurant, and then CP, a robot who delivered food, which the CP refers to Circus Playhouse. And there was also a second version of Barney made where he was a clown. And then a company named Reedy's made new outfits for the characters and cosmetics, which these look pretty good, but not as good as AVG's. And they also had a person in a Lionel the Lion costume, which would have meet and greets with kids. And you may be wondering, what happened to the Circus Playhouse band? Well, this happened. So they were in a private collection at an unknown location, just in storage, and then they got sent to an antique store in Georgia, and these guys had water damage, and a person bought them and are currently restoring them. The second show, which got in a fire, which is now owned by Andrea, which also is known as Cavity Sam, which is restoring the characters to their original form, but due to a fire in her area, the the characters got damaged, which they're currently in storage, hoping to be restored in the future. Tex Critter's Pizza Jamboree opened in Indiana and also a Spanish-speaking country, which is most likely Mexico or Puerto Rico. And the characters were built by AVG Technologies, and part of the Tex Critter Pizza Jamboree show. Tex Critter, who was a dragon who played guitar and had a unicorn horn and loved singing country music. Country Cal, a crazy cougar who would play guitar, and his sidekick Skeeter the Snake, which would slither on his hat. Foxy Roxy, also known as Roxanne Rose, who was a Dolly Parton impersonator. And these characters were pretty advanced, and it sucks that this place was short-lived and it had a few locations, and then it got sent to a theme park in the 80s, and also got reused to teach college students about robotics, which here they are today. And then another set, which was at the theme park, which also didn't last too long, was found around the 2010s and got saved and got sold to Cavity Sam, which they were about 80% restored up until the fire happened, but they're still in good hands. These guys were pretty cool and were actually made out of airplane parts, so they could last forever. Major Magic's All-Star Pizza Review was a pizzeria that opened in Michigan in the 1980s. Also had locations in Ohio. The the characters being Major Magic, the ringmaster of the band, who also had a pretty cool looking mascot costume. Barbara String Band, a fox who would play the guitar. Rock the Croc, who would tickle the ivories. Sergeant Pepperoni, a walrus who would play the saxophone, which his name is based off of Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. And Flash the Lion, which would play drums. Speaking of drums, Ludwig von Drum was a sentient drum, specifically the bass drum, which would hit himself. Marcello, which was a violin that would also play himself. Yoko Oboe, and Oboe, who was based off of singer Yoko Ono. Nickelodeon, the piano. Burley Hives, a country singing bear which would play the guitar, banjo. A talking tree, Sam, who dressed up as Uncle Sam and would stand on a turtle shell, and then an owl who would pop out his hand in an outhouse. And then a Major Magic's location actually had a Rockafire retrofit, which did not contain Rock the Croc. Instead, a character named Killa Gorilla, which would be a Fats Geronimo retrofit. And then a Major Magic's revival would happen after the last official location was shut down in 2013 by the people who founded and made the animatronics would bring back the place in the year 2020, which you probably know what happened. It did not last very long, only a couple months, and it shut down due to the COVID-19 pandemic. And the characters did get sold. And the characters from, I believe, the Sylvania, Ohio location got 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 sent to Main Street Randyland around 2013, which he currently owns the characters. Captain Andy's Rivertown was a place that opened around the 1980s and had 5 known locations. Captain Andy, a dog who would play banjo. Happy, a dog that would play violin. Goober, a tall dog that would play gut bucket. Homer, a dog who would play a wooden guitar. Sparky, a Dalmatian that would sit on a fire truck. Gus Gus, who was a dog that would pop out his head. Clarabelle, a sentient fire truck. Matthew the Seagull, who was Captain Andy's best friend and the secondary character which would tell jokes and was wisecracking. And that is not done. There's still more characters. This Lady Frog, who would be Jubilation T. Bullfrog's wife. Jubilation T. Bullfrog, who was the mayor of Rivertown, who was a lazy politician that would go fishing a bunch. Honeysuckle ambrosia hippopotame, which was a hippo that weighed 800 pounds. I don't think the animatronic actually weighed that much. Dixie, Daisy, and Delilah, cats that would be in the balcony, and you can still find a Captain Andy show at Watermouth Castle, and these characters were developed by Rolf Kennard, which used to work for Showbiz, and then Bob Gurr, who was a former Imagineer at Disney. So anyways, guys, peace out.